So, welcome everybody. Madelaine Parker and Amalia Natalia bringing you this Moon Cycles Cosmic Chat, talking about the full moon in Aquarius. This is a super moon. This is happening on August 1st at 2:31 p.m. Eastern. And this also happens to be falling on my birthday. So wow. I am super, super excited about this full moon. And the cool thing is that it's also literally happening at my sun is 9 degrees Leo. And if we think about this moon, it's the moon is in Aquarius, but the sun is in Leo at 9 degrees. And so this is a big time spotlight on, I mean, for all of us, but particularly for me, for this being my birthday time. So I want to just share a little bit about kind of the intuitive read that I'm getting and kind of lay the foundation, and then let Madelaine take us on her astrological journey. If you hear some voices or noise in the background, I had a little gathering here of some beautiful women, and we've been talking about all sorts of things that deal with relationships and collaboration and supporting each other. And it's just such a beautiful energy to be in as we're opening up this conversation. So Aquarius has to do with the higher mind, the collective thinking. It also has to do with friends groups. So this is such a beautiful energy to already be in. So notice where that's showing up in your life. It also has to do with social media. What are you sharing? What are you taking in? Then we have Leo. Leo is this bold, creative, very heart-forward, heart-centric energy. It can get a little bit egocentric, so you've got to be careful when your mind might want to carry you away in a story. Like, really come back to your heart, come back to what feels aligned with you, and merging the two together. We have fire, Leo, we have air, Aquarius. And when you have these two, if you think about fanning the flames in a way, what flames are you fanning? Are you fanning flames of your soul mission, of a divine partnership or relationship? Or are you fanning flames that somebody else's fire? Did they say to you, this is what you do? I know my father, for instance, he wanted to be an airplane pilot, but his mom actually said, no, you're going to be a doctor, and your sisters are going to be nurses, and your other sister is going to be a lawyer. And that is the path that he took. And he ended up loving it and was very, very good at it, but that's not where his passion lied. So fan the flames of what is truly passionate for you. In my dad's case, it would have been being an airline pilot. So this period of time too is highlighting choices that you've made already. So think back to January 21st of 2023 of this year, the new moon in Aquarius. What was happening then? What were you focused on? What was important to you at that time? And how aligned are you with your vision for yourself? Did you make different choices than you wanted to then? Are you having the same conversations that you've been having over and over again? Just pay attention to that and be very aware of what do you want to do versus what are you doing that others want you to do. And that feels really like such a strong message right now, Madelaine, is that really tuning into your wishes, wants, and desires, and taking action that lines you up with those, not what other people want for you.
Well, especially since we have the nodes in Aries and the South Node in Libra, because people are completely letting go of like people pleasing relationships, being inauthentic situations that are heart soul centered because of that Pluto presence squaring the nodes. It's really pushing everybody soul sort of truth. And it's very clear. And all these lunations that have been really pulling us inward, and these retrograde planets that are coming in here and are really pulling us inward. So we are very connected to what our calling and what our path is. Like you were saying, being really connected to the self is how we really get that clarity.
Yeah.
Or your astrology chart as well. That's a huge, fantastic way to do it. In fact, Aquarius means in tarot, it's the star card. It represents astrology. When we look at the stars, when we look at our chart, we're going to be transformed into a state of optimism, because that's the star's job, is to create optimistic and faith. So the age of Aquarius is coming up. So these lunations, this full moon in Aquarius is bringing to ripen, bringing the ripe fruit or the berries or the results of seeded efforts from, most likely, around the great grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in 2020, in December 21, 2020. Now, what is Saturn? Saturn is our career. Jupiter is our calling. So Saturn and Jupiter came together because if you know your astrology chart, you're going to know that your career and your calling are most likely together. When you follow your chart, you're following your calling. You study your Jupiter, you're following the path that Jupiter in your chart guides you on. It's what fills your cup. It's what you're going to want to do every day anyway. So you may as well make it a career.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Get paid for the things you love.
Yeah. So the age of Aquarius is people, it's no longer people looking for a leader, following a cult or a leader, which is shadow aspect, kind of Aquarius energy shadow. But what we're doing is we're all following our own guides. That's 11, because the 11th house is the house of Aquarius. So we're following our own higher souls, our higher guidance, our astrology charts. We're studying our charts. We're knowing ourselves. When you know yourself, know your chart, you know yourself. And the more you know yourself, which is the message, which is the big message of Jesus and the big message of all spiritual philosophers, the more empowered you are as a being on this planet, because you're fully in alignment with who you were created to be. And then you're in your power. And then you're stepping your path of authentic service.
Can I add one thing to that, Madelaine? I don't want to interrupt your flow, but I just wanted to drop this little bit in as you were sharing about your chart, is that what I have found is that most people are living their chart without even knowing that they're doing it. And the beauty of having a reading with you with astrology, or with me when it comes to bringing in astrology, human design, gene keys, or soul contract is that you can then see how it all fits together, and it just confirms that, oh wow, I'm intuitively going down this path that I was questioning, that I wasn't sure, and it's actually right for me, which then develops, you have a more developed trust in yourself and your path forward. So it's, yeah, I just feel like it's such a beautiful opportunity for trusting your own intuition and having that confirmation through these spiritual sciences. So yeah, just wanted to drop that in real quick.
Good point, Amalia. Excellent point.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you.
I've been getting sort of a wave of younger 20-year-olds, like millennials, want people with their 2000-year birthdays. And they are, when I tell them what they're here to do, they get this, they're so excited. It's like we're supposed to feel excited about our lives. And this younger group that are waking up to astrology are so lucky, because they're waking up to their highest path earlier in life, And astrology helps you onto your higher path, and it helps you recognize your shadow that you're operating in, that you don't understand why you're operating in the shadow aspect. But when you understand that you're playing out the shadow aspects of that sign, you can make that conscious shift, and then you create a better experience for yourself, better outcomes. All right. So
it just makes life easier. It's like we feel like in this density of this earthly experience, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so hard. It's so hard. And really, if you can see in the moment, like the path or the plan that you set forth for yourself, and realize, okay, this is what I'm dealing with in this period of time, but I can make this choice, and that might be challenging, but it will move me through this a lot more quickly, a lot more seamlessly and easefully and gracefully. And that's, I think, where the beauty of these cosmic chats are, is that people can then see the story with your sun, moon, and rising sign that's going to unfold for you in the next couple of weeks.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. And you understand what's going on. You have a sort of understanding, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let me make you a co-host so that you can share the screen.
Well, this full moon, by the way, is ruled by Aquarius, Uranus and Saturn. And so anybody that has Uranus on any planets that they hold right now, their life is completely changing. And again, this is where astrology helps, because a lot of people, especially Saturn ruled people, really like to script out life and really make it all a certain way. And they think they can script everything out. Well, Uranus is like out of the blue. It breaks that whole script, or that whole, like you were thinking, that rigid mind. Aquarius is out of the box thinking, out of the rut, shake up, that we have to do in order to create the changes. Otherwise, the changes don't really, it's how the changes occur. And then we become liberated. There's this buildup, and then we're liberated, So
and so for Saturn people, like the Saturn ruled people are the Capricorn people. So the Capricorns who've had like a bit of a rough go for a hot minute, I feel like this is going to shake them up just a little bit more, but that's not a bad thing. It's kind of like that final clean out, it's important polishing. How about that? We'll say it's a polishing.
Yeah, in fact, this one person is their job is completely fallen down. Everything's crashing. In fact, I was doing a reading for her, and her 7th house had Uranus in it, which meant her husband's life was completely changing, and his whole work situation was completely coming down. But that was because he wasn't in alignment with his soul's calling, and that is happening right now. So if you're out of alignment, and that's where astrology helps you understand. And so I was able to help her understand what the bigger picture was. And it's awesome, because he's liberated from a situation he was not happy in. That's why it wasn't stable. Anything you're not happy in is not stable. It's going to come kaboomba. Uranus is going to shake it.
Well, and I feel like too, like that's Uranus's job, is to shake things up so that you can pivot or make the move that you really don't want to make, but that you need to make.
And it feels very shaky. So this full moon may bring too many shakeups, unstable situations. What you thought was stable comes down, kaboomba, because you have something that is more stable trying to come through. This is nature. This is how nature works. The trees that are rotting, that aren't solid underneath anymore, have gotten rotten and old. The roots come down, and the tree goes kaboomba.
I love your kaboomba, Madelaine.
Yes, it's the Tower card. We it.
All right, so we want to let's take a look and see what the chart looks like. I'm excited.
Disabled participant screen sharing, so you're going to have to allow me to share.
Oh, I did. I thought I did. Maybe I did the wrong one. Let me see. Okay, there you go. Try now. I think I did the wrong one.
Button. That's the thing in these full moons. Aquarius is all about social media, the internet, the electrical setups, all these things. So, I've had some challenges during Aquarian and Leo situations in my internet stuff. So if you have unstable situation, it might show itself now to be improved upon. Okay, before Mercury goes retrograde. All right. Okay, so we are taking a look at this full moon. It is on the Pacific coast. It's going to be at noon, and it's happening, like you said, 9 degrees Aquarius, and it's opposing the sun in Leo. So oppositions always bring most likely things that happen, things that are coming to you from the universe, things that are not scripted and not in your control. And why astrology is so interesting is that our heads are limited. We tell stories of what's going on. Like you said, that's 3D focus. Now we're trying to shift our story to 5D focus, which is the astrology, which is Aquarius. It is the 5th dimension. So astrology is working with the 5D, literally. So when we're focused on the 3D, we're focused on what is, when astrology is trying to tell you what's coming down, what's better, what can be, how the fix, the solution. So we have in this new full moon, shall we say, the busting away of anything that is in the way of this new, shall we say, setup for the efforts that were initiated in the big conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, because Saturn and Jupiter, have I lost you, Amalia? Saturn is our career, Jupiter is our calling. The conjunction put many people onto their path. And now we're going to start seeing it. It's not easy. One thing you don't know is that path of our calling is never easy. I wonder if I'm still here. Are you still there, Maya?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I exited for one quick second because I had, like I was saying before, the girlfriends that were here, there was some stuff. I was just trying to make sure everybody was taken care of. So yeah, but I was here. I was sort of listening. I got to be honest. But everyone that's live and everyone that's here, they got the gist. So I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
I wasn't sure if I was just like, should wait or not. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Keep going.
So yeah, so we're seeing the fruit, the apple coming from the trees, or the bearing of the efforts, shall we say, the materializations of the efforts initiated around 2000, that big. I've got the damn brain fog today. Okay. That conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn at 0 degrees Aquarius in 2020, December 21, we had the grand conjunction, which spurred most people to step onto a solopreneurial path of some form, to work for yourself, to leave the corporate treadmill, to become consultants. I mean, most readings I did was sort of, that's what the chart is really helping you do in astrology, is to walk your individual path. That's the Aquarian energy, where we're all independents, walking in alignment with higher will, higher divine calling. So we're now going to see that people don't know, because the universe doesn't tell you in advance that it's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy when you take your calling. It's not just, skippy all the way.
It isn't. Oh boy. No,
it's not. So if you knew all the hardships ahead, you probably wouldn't do it. So now with this full moon, you're going to see the results of something your ego mind could not perceive. Your ego mind saw as being not succeeding, not happening, not coming. You can't see the seated underneath the roots that were sprouting. Aquarian is a fixed energy, the deep roots. The roots sprout first before you see the results. These lunations show you the bush, show you the creation, show you the results.
The other piece of that too, Madelaine, I'm sorry to interrupt you, is that it's like screaming at me, which is why I'm feeling like I have to jump in, is that when we get caught up in our conscious thought, egoic thought, that we are so limited. It's like this little teeny nugget where if we're opened up, especially if you have an aspect that's the significant one that happened in 2020 and 2021, there is like this infinite potential that exists that we don't see, or we don't even allow ourselves to access, because we're constantly blocking ourselves by the small-minded nature of the ego. And
well,
so
all we're doing is observing how it's not working out, or where we're failing, or where we didn't get as many followers, or or whatever. So we're really constantly observing the reality 3D, which is the old setup, what we're talking about, because Aquarius is the higher dimension. It's going, it's as below, we're going to ground the new reality by focusing on a new story, the better story, which is working with the fifth dimension, which is working with astrology, because astrology is telling us the better story, the real story. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I think, no, we're good. Cause I feel like you elaborated on what I said, and it also feels like, and I just want to just say, I've got these two gorgeous women here that are going to be part of it. We have Regina and Sally. I don't know if you wanted to be introduced, but you're introduced. You're in YouTube land. We're there. I asked them to chime in and to join in the conversation when things come up and be part of that. The other gals went to the beach. The beach was too enticing. So, but I think it's really, it's amazing, because I know with both of these women here with me that they've each had their own set of challenges and their own set of changes that have occurred in these past few years. And so, let me just ask the two of you, like, have you found that as you are as this full moon is coming into focus, that your life is beginning to, are you feeling like a little bit more of an expansion into the possibilities? You're not so thinking so limited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
More clarity.
Yeah.
Enough, that is the energy again of Aquarius, very open-minded. We're opening up our minds,
Yep.
And we're going to get into that in all of this because we have Saturn in Pisces in retrograde opposing Mercury in Virgo conjoining Mars. So Mercury is in a very strong position. So what we're doing is we're because Saturn represents the old thinking. It's in retrograde. It's what we may have thought, what was the old structure, the old paradigm is kind of crumbling kind of down. And we're opening up to new perspectives, new thoughts. And there's sort of an opposition here between these two things, the old world and the new world, the new thinking. And so out of the Aquarian galvanizing, because you could look at the Saturn representing the government where we have this polarized thinking going on. Well, I have a feeling we're becoming more and more galvanized because that's the energy of Aquarius. We're evolving into the energy of Aquarius where we're seeing more people coming to galvanizing situations, things happening in the world that pull us all together, both sides.
Well, and that's too, I feel like what's happening also is that people are getting tired of the constant fighting, the conflict and all of this, and it's bringing more people together for,
what side of politics you believe in, who cares,
Right. Yeah. But even like today, this gathering, it's, it was all women. And I feel like that's also a really beautiful thing. Women coming together to support each other, to collaborate with each other versus some of that older energy of, oh, okay, there's only this small piece of pie for all of us women to share. And so I'm going to grab mine and keep it from you. And I'm been so in awe of the women that I've come in contact with in the past 2, 3, 4 years that are so generous and loving and kind-hearted and willing to help you. And even if we're in similar industries or do similar things, there's the energy that I bring that is mine and the energy that they bring that's theirs. And there's plenty for everyone and just supporting each other.
Because Aquarian energy is people pulling together, and women are really finding their power more connected in groups and in retreat centers and coming in together and really opening up and really talking and really sort of finding out, because when you meet with a group, you find out there's a big common problem in society, and it comes out has a lot to do with sexual assault and things like that. And these come out, and then women are seeing, wow, how are we being victims and contributing to our own lack of empowered selves? How is the feminine? So these women are coming together and empowering each other by finding our collective karmic victim mentality, or how we're creating our own unempowered experiences. So women galvanizing together is going to be a big source of power in the planet. That's happening. It's happening already. Women are really galvanizing together. And when that happens, this is when the earth changes. Women actually make the big changes.
Well, I feel like it's happening. I feel like it's happening already.
Yes.
And we were talking about this earlier too, that a lot of the energetics have already occurred. It's just that we're not experiencing it yet in the density of this earthly experience. But from an energetic perspective, it's done. And now we're like beginning to take physical action in these messages that a lot of us have been receiving for a while now, and gathering and talking about relationships and how we show up within the male-female dynamic within relationships, and how we show up for each other, and graciously and generously sharing the gifts that we have with others, not just women, but I'm just speaking to, for instance, this, today.
Yes, and many women, and again, men too, hold very powerful spiritual gifts that have been oppressed, that are psychologically stabilizing for people, psychics and spiritual practitioners that in society have been called witches, or all these negative things, that were very powerful healers and shamans, and we're all sort of waking up to working with the higher realms, and a form of collective spiritualism, because abundance is not all material. Abundance is the partnership between the ethereal and the material. So we're waking up to our true source of abundance is working with the ethereal and and working with that so that we then have a vision consciously of what the story is, when we then consciously are able to take actions that align with it, that cause rapid materialization. Then we're in alignment. And when we're in alignment with the universe, with what we're materializing, it's extremely rapid abundance. It's supported. So
I bet people will love that word, rapid abundance.
yeah, like you see it in nature. When the conditions are right.
Yeah, boom.
Yep.
There you have it. So did you want to share anything else about the chart itself, or do you want to jump into this to Aries?
Yeah, so there's this opposition here between Mercury, exact opposition at this full moon, which is issues. There could be arguments, conflicts, old thinking, new thinking, conflict, old people's beliefs, what they believe. Are they making a judgment? Potentially, it's rigid thinking based on some sort of old thinking that may have been, it's an old generation, past generations, what our parents were sort of trained to think. Are we thinking that way and causing barriers to new advancements, new thinking, new progress? Okay, so and Aquarius is the energy of progress in the future. So that's just to talk about that. We do have Venus in retrograde. Mercury will go into retrograde, but Venus is in retrograde, going back close to the sun here. So that's an interesting energy for the whole full moon, because it's in the same sign as the sun. And so there is abundance, financial things. I mean, this is triggering people's charts. So they'll, because the moon will come in opposing that Venus after the full moon towards the end of the day. So issues in romance and relationships and money will come up, but stuff that comes up during a full moon is to clear the subconscious. So the moon is your subconscious. It's full, boom, brings up issues of your subconscious. The sun shows your subconscious issues that are a problem. Aquarius, Lion, Leo is pride, self-worth. Do you have pride, protecting low self-worth? That'll kaboomba. You know, that happens in full moons. You may find where you are unvaluing yourself, Leo energy. Where is your not self-love preventing you from stepping forward into a mission or project that you really believe in? So that's going to show up if you have low insecurities. You know, I'm just kind of giving a quick roundup here. So
well, I love that you brought up the self-love and the self-worth, because that came through really, really strong when I was tuning into this full moon energy. And it's, I even started writing my kindness correspondence email talking about the moon. And that was one of the key themes, was about the love of self, and then loving yourself enough to make some of these difficult choices. And it's really this unconditional love. I mean, Leo is love. I mean, heart center, heart connected to the heart, physically and energetically. And so can we, you know, if any of us have had the experience of unconditional love, I mean, I think you go back to perhaps when you were an infant, you know, that unconditional love of a parent. And that's not the story for everyone, but that's kind of the one that I think is.
People could have a love for dogs.
That's a great one. Yeah, dogs, you know, dogs unconditionally love you. They don't require much from you. You know, they will find a way, you know, they'll eat whatever they can get their little mouths on if they're not able, if you don't feed them. But you know, this is a time of being able to experience unconditional love coming from within yourself, forgiving yourself for the perceived F-ups, and allowing yourself that space to be okay with everything as it is, like that self-acceptance, that leads to self-worth, that leads to loving yourself in a really beautifully unconditional way. And
it's
go ahead.
triggering me to say here, interesting. It's really on this point, because at the same time, when I switch to the grid, can you see it? Does it switch to the?
Yeah, let me make sure that everybody can see that online also.
So you see how there's a square to this full moon is squaring Jupiter.
I don't think folks can see it. I don't think folks can see it online.
Well, anyway, this full moon it's a wide square, because Jupiter's at 13 degrees and then we've got 9 degrees. So it's kind of a 4 degree square, but the moon's going to move in and complete that square. So what does that mean? That means whenever there is a Jupiter square, we have a tremendous confidence and faith. So Jupiter gets us up, gets us going. We believe in it. We have faith. And so at the same time, we're going, where are we low self-esteem value? And we fix that. And then we have this new up. And also the Jupiter square is going to give you the self-confidence to look at yourself and make a change there. And because you love yourself, you have confidence, you believe in yourself. So that doesn't resonate anymore. This lower self-esteem angle on yourself is going to come up and you're going to go, well, we're throwing that in the trash because Jupiter square.
How I love Jupiter.
Have faith in yourself. That's right. All right. So that's kind of a roundup message on this whole deal. So did you want to go into all the 12 houses now?
Yeah, let's do it. And what I love is with the beautiful ladies that are with me, I just checked in with them to find out what their sun, moon, and rising are. So we have
okay, good.
So we've got Aquarius in the house, Scorpio, Libra, Capricorn, and Sag. So they've got a lot to listen to.
All right, we will do that. We will go into it with a little more depth to the people that are here. Hang on a minute, my chart is.
And I told these ladies too, like if there's a question or something that comes up, or there's like an example from their life that they want to share, because you know, anyone who knows me knows, you know, we learn from one another. So learning from each other, learning from life experiences and the stories from their life is helpful for all of us, but particularly those who might be watching, that it might speak directly to something they need. So, all right, let's jump into Aries.
Okay, so Aries, of course, you guys have the nodes in your first house. So Aries are fired up and ready to initiate something really new, major in their lives. And then they're going to have Aquarius. They have Aquarius over their 11th house. And the 11th house Aquarius is like kind of like in its own home. I mean, Aries are like that over all their houses. It's the sign that is assigned to that house. So it's kind of like a very loud full moon for them. So something opens up for them in their tribe group, potentially a new tribe group, or it becomes very clear who their true tribe group is, that they can now expand through their mission, their cause. This is a humanitarian energy. So again, lower self-esteem issues, because that's going to be in their Taurus. Where's Leo for them? Why am I not? Leo in their 5th, of course, 11th, 5th. So there's going to become clear lower self-esteem issues of friends that weren't necessarily a part of their future, part of this project. You kind of let go of it, becomes clear. And now you have more pride in yourself. You believe in yourself. You deserve better friends. And now you're going to go forward more with some sort of humanitarian cause with people that really are your true long-term friends. This is a Saturn ruled and Saturn's in retrograde, and a Uranian ruled eclipse. I mean, full moon. So it's like, it's about future projects that involve the tribe and groups, social media, network. And so you're going to find Aries opening their mind and joining in on some collective projects and collective, again, this could be career. It's most likely a career. It's Jupiter calling career. So galvanizing a calling and career, or they have a calling and they find a network to put it out and they start taking it out onto social media. An opportunity opens up perhaps to work with other social media people, or to get on board with other people who are on the same mission, as it were. So it's very social for Aries energy. Very social time.
What I love about what you were sharing is that Aries, you know, Aries can be social, but Aries are their first house, they're very self-oriented. You know, it's all about them. And I love the flower that came out for Aries, because it's to me, it reminds me of like the sun. It's a chocolate daisy. It's so connected to the sun in Leo. And then you have all these leaves that come off of it, or petals rather, that come off of it. And even in the center, there's all these seeds, which also reminds me of that Aquarian energy of connection and friendship and creation. So it's this very cheerful energy. So if Aries might be having some issues within relationships with their friend groups or creative project or getting something going, this is like, cheer up. It's happening. It's coming. You're working together, and you can call in Chocolate Daisy to help you out.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
cool. Yeah, well, what I love about that is that this full moon that looks like a full moon in a way, and it's like a seed planted is now opened up. The flower is.
Yes. Yeah, I
Right.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's kind of like you planted the seed and now it's like, it's here. That beautiful culmination of the full moon energy. Yeah.
Very
Very
cool.
cool.
Because why that Saturn opposing Mercury is going to open up people's minds. They're going to become aware of how old-fashioned and old-minded some of their ways of thinking are. That's going to happen across the board. I love that.
I've noticed that with myself too. Actually, just this morning, I was looking back at my journal to see what was happening on January 21st for myself. And I
Mhm.
realized, wow, like some of the thought processes I was in then, I'm still in, and some I've moved way beyond. Like
Yeah.
that's no longer something that I attach to or that I believe. So yeah, that's very cool. It's very cool.
Very.
Okay,
All right.
Taurus.
You guys have Aquarius over your 10th house. Wow, nice. So that's like career. See, something really great. Amalia, don't you have Taurus moon? Nice Taurus
Yeah.
moon away. Oh my God.
Taurus
that's
moon.
what-
Yeah, Misha does too. Both of
and
us.
it's Leo sun.
Leo
right?
sun. Yeah.
Wow. It's going to be big for you. Very
I know,
nice.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
The results of all your hard work and consistency, because it's you're ruled by Saturn, or no, you're not ruled by
I'm
Saturn,
not,
but
no, because I'm Scorpio ascendant. So I'm
Yeah,
ruled by
but this-
Pluto.
so right. So this lunation is hitting for Taurus in their Saturn house, which is the 10th house of career, which is long-term effort, day in work results.
And
From
Madelaine, you know, and actually most people that are watching know, I've been busting my ass.
And you
Like, legit.
and you're about to reap the rewards because you have not given up and you have plowed through and you've done it with Leo. Right? So you're good. You're gonna get some kind of major reward in your career. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yay, I'm ready.
Fantastic for Taurus. Very happy for you. Anything else I should quickly say about Taurus? Aries is in your 12th, so you may do a lot of traveling, cross-cultural traveling, or for the next 18 months with the nose there, you're going to go deep into some sort of study or introspective study. When I had the nose in my 12th house, I was on my land. I kind of escaped in my land and did a lot of, I don't know. I mean, it was just a very deep internal experience. So, prepared me for everything coming up that's been happening ever since. But anyway, so let's just focus on the Aquarius and Leo house. So so you've got Leo in your 4th house, by the way. That's really great. So you've got the full moon in your 4th for Taurus. So that's good news for beings, knowing where you want to live, things become clear. The mission, you're going to understand why you haven't moved until now. It was so that this would align. There's a reason for that. You know, you're going to see, because mission was kind of opening up now. Your mind was not capable of fully comprehending what was really coming down this pipeline. Now
Definitely was not. Yeah, my mind could not comprehend.
No. Now you're going to
pushing, resisting, pushing. Yeah, I
Right.
don't recommend that for anyone, by the way.
because
That's
your mind was telling you a story that it wasn't working. You weren't succeeding on some level. Your mind is observing the struggle of the journey rather than the attractions you're making here.
yeah.
Cards, Taurus.
So for Taurus, we have the papaya flower. And what I love about this, one of the key themes, can everyone see that? Can you see that okay? Is receptivity. I mean, this is what's happening right now, is like, get ready to receive. This is the time. And gentle is powerful. So similarly to what I was just saying about that pushing energy, it's this more feminine, gentle.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Madelaine?
Well, that's kind of shadow Saturn energy. So when you have faith, that goes away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But that can be challenging for people.
Very.
Yeah.
Believe
'Cause
me.
you don't see it. And
Yeah,
even
it's
if,
very
even if, you know, and even if, and I mean, listen, you and I both play in this playground of spiritual science every day. And there's a lot of times when I'm like, I don't see it. Like, I see that this is the potential, but I have no indication that that is actually happening. And I am terrified. Like, seriously terrified. Yeah.
I know. Believe me, yes. That's why the cards say the same thing every day. It's coming. It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. Stay the course, have faith. So yeah, so the papaya flower, and just so everyone knows too, I am using the Flower Evolution deck by Katie Hess of Lotus Way. I highly recommend any of their elixirs or serums to help support you, and just do a search on the flower that comes up for your sun, moon, or rising. And then, or just call in the spirit of the plant to be with you based on, you know, just call in papaya flower, bring your gentleness and receptivity into my life. I'm ready to receive, you know, I mean, literally something as simple as that can really cause a shift, create a shift, and help you get through some challenging times that may show up for you. So yeah. Very cool.
Nice.
All right. Gemini.
Yes, Gemini, you guys have Aquarius in your ninth house. So you're having a full moon in your ninth house. Talk about mind opening, boy. Your mind's just going to go boom. Aquarius, Aquarius energy is out of the blue. It is shock and awe energy. It's the Tower card in the tarot. So, you know, their minds may just be suddenly, surprisingly opened up around something, and it's going to be potentially spiritual. They may have major spiritual awakenings, or they have a complete mind shift around spiritualism, or they have a big connection to something about themselves and their soul. They suddenly shift a belief that opens up something. Let's say you don't believe in, I don't know, what am I thinking of? God, now I'm blanking, but something you just don't believe in that's stopping you from doing something that you truly desire in your soul opens up, and then you do it, and it is your path. And again, it could be something, and also this is the fruition potentially of plans or ideas you had around 2020, the big conjunction, and now you're, and it would have been around travel, because it would have hit, see this, that big conjunction happened in everybody's chart in the same house that this full moon is happening in. So that the full moon is going to bring some sort of potential group project around traveling or internet or social media traveling, that you perhaps you go on a travel spree and you start reporting about spirituality around the world, and it shows everybody there's a common denominator in spiritualism, and it brings people together. Or there is a new belief you have to go forward and serve humanity in some way that's in a spiritual mission, because you realize you're a spiritual being more than a material being, and you want to step into your calling more because you know it spiritually fulfills you. By the way, these are the kind of your Aquarian calling fills your cup. I mean, you are happy. So maybe there's a book that opens up to an adventure, because the ninth house is all about adventures. You open your mind, so you go on adventures. Perhaps you've had a rigid idea about a certain country and you would never go there. And now you see, wow, I've just been really narrow-minded. I should definitely check it out. I'm going to have a spiritual experience there, you know. And then the sun is in your third house, Leo, and we've got that Saturn Mercury opposition. So you're going to have an opinion shift in your opinion. You know, you're probably going to tell people about it. You're going to have a revelation. And you're going to, and it's going to, and it could be that you start opening your mind about other cultures, or you suddenly become interested in other cultures, or some sort of other cultural experience comes into your life. Because the ninth house is other cultures as well, which is all art, can be arts. Maybe you decide to sort of focus on cross-cultural arts, you know, and you're pulling them together and create a website or internet feed on cross-cultural arts or something. Anyway, hopefully that's, but Geminis are, it's all very mental for them because they're ruled by Mercury, and they've got Mercury in their sign and it's opposing Saturn. So old-fashioned rigid thoughts are going to go, here's my word, kaboomba.
Kaboomba.
Is that energy? It's like, you know, out of the blue.
So
all right.
I don't know if everyone noticed while you were sharing about Gemini, I was shuffling almost that entire time. And I was like, what's going on? Like the cards did not want
really
to to reveal themselves until the very end. And the flower for Gemini is the rose. And what I find so interesting about this is when I think Gemini, I think twins, I think dual-minded, I think this mind that can go either way. Like, oh yeah, I see your point of view there, but I also see this point of view. And I could maybe go this way, but I also go that way. Or no, that's absolutely wrong. This is the way it goes. Or, you know, any variation thereof. And the rose is, you know, it's like the highest vibrational flower. It is one that connects with unconditional love. So if we're talking about Gemini, it's, and one of the message here is also to nurture yourself. So when I think about this in terms of Gemini and what's happening for them with this like higher mind, higher thinking, is to nurture that process and don't feel like you have to have an answer. Don't feel like you need to know. Just be very open to whatever messages might want to trickle in. Allow them to be there in a very loving way, very open-minded way, and then see what's revealed as time goes on, because the information that's coming in now is going to be really important for you later, but you're not necessarily going to know or understand what's coming through now, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very interesting because our minds, like we say, are limited. We don't know the full story. Our minds are only stuck on what's been and what is. It's hard to.
Right.
Nice.
Exactly. All right. So Cancer.
Cancer, you guys, us guys, ladies, us ladies as well. Aquarius is in your 8th house. Ooh, I think this is going to be good for Cancer because it means some sort of culmination of joint financing projects. It's a good money house. Also could reveal fears. The thing about 8th house placements is there can be a lot of deep subconscious fears around financing and survival. So when you have a full moon in that house, it can show you, you can maybe lose money somehow, or something can happen that really scares you. And then you discover you land on your feet, and then something really abundant comes in. And the reason that happens was you let go energetic on money. Because sometimes we get too penny pinchy energy on money and it can block the flow of abundance. So sometimes it come in and show you that you're being too penny pinchy or too tight or too holding on, and you you screw up and you accidentally charge something for a hotel room, you can't get the money back and you lose $500. I mean, that's kind of the thing that happens on Aquarius on these full moons. And you say, oh, I just lost money, and you're upset about it. But then it made you just go, oh, well. And that, oh, well, suddenly opened you up for more abundance, and you stopped that energy was blocking. So Aquarian full moons can kind of open that up for you by some sort of like fear connection. You come in contact with a latent fear you're not clearing, which is blocking your abundance. Our subconscious is what attracts our abundance, is our subconscious. Our feminine, the feminine is the true attractor, which is our subconscious state. So astrology is always trying to shift our internal and external. When planets go retrograde, we're shifting internally more. So this full moon is happening before all the planets go retrograde. So we're going to see the rewards of some sort of joint financial effort or money fruition, abundant project coming up. Perhaps you take out a loan with someone to take on a project, to perhaps co-manage a business together, or you see you had fundraising, or you were going to start fundraising for some kind of a humanitarian effort, and now the money seems to be there and you can go forward with it, because the 8th house is about money. It's about joint finances, and it's about debt, and it's about fear of debt, and sometimes people are really afraid of debt. Well, actually that stops you from taking some sort of advance. Debt can be very productive. You can really take something by going in debt and really elevate your financial status after, and really be able to pay that debt off. A lot of times when people have planets in the 8th house, they're really afraid of debt. So when you have these, it spurs you to take the debt on, and don't worry, you're going to be able to pay it back. You will. If an opportunity opens up, or an idea opens up that is going to solve a humanitarian issue, there's a good chance you'll find support financially. Now, again, this is also a house of relationships, so there could be joint relationships coming in for Cancer. Passionate sex can happen, which was a very exciting thing. Anyway, and then it's like joint financing. So it's very potential relationship opens up here that has been in long building since that 2020 conjunction, because this relationship most likely would be divine partnership relationship. So you have a co-mission together that's going to help humanity, that galvanizes the people, brings the people together.
So I wanted to share, if you don't mind, a quick example is that, so one of my sons is a Capricorn sun and my daughter-in-law is a Cancer sun. And they are, so in, I can't remember which moon cycle, maybe last moon cycle or 2 ago, Capricorn had a fourth, had the moon in the 4th house. So that is moving, that is home, that has to do with ancestry, but it typically will have a connection to moving. And then in Cancer, now we're kind of talking about this in slightly a different way, but debt but moving. And so when you're married or in a partnership that has some sort of a contract related to it, whatever happens for one affects the other. So my son's activation of the 4th house had a ripple effect connection with my daughter-in-law, and they are buying a house and they are taking on debt in the form of a mortgage. And so this is showing and highlighting, when she's Cancer, how this is playing out in their chart. So he activated the move, and now she's activating the, if you will, or other people's money in the purchasing of the home, which is laying the groundwork for them for their future. And it will be foundational piece.
And they will do very well. They will be financially liberated, because Aquarius, if you have Aquarius over your 8th house, taking a debt is going to financially liberate you. It's very, very smart.
I'm going to need to send this to them and say, okay, listen at the whatever minute mark to give yourself a little boost.
Yeah. I just 333. So
yeah, fun. So
that we're right. Okay.
Are we ready for the card or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the flower for Cancer is the date palm flower. And the message for this card is shift the paradigm. And I think you pretty much everything that you were talking about earlier on, before we kind of got into the nuts and bolts of it, had to do with shifting the way you experience things, shifting, like thinking about debt in terms of that is your accelerant to success versus it's something that will hold me back. Right. So the date palm flower is a great flower to call in if you really want to activate and tune into that energy of abundance, and taking what looks on the surface like it might be a quote unquote negative and turn it into a positive.
That's right. Yeah. And also something in this full moon for Aquarians, you could also get an inheritance. Somebody could pass away and there's an inheritance, but don't worry, somebody that you already know. It's usually, well, although it is Uranus, so it could be out of the blue, but and then you get an inheritance. But also, I just thought of something you just said. I forgot it. But it's basically about, it's basically a financial advancement for Cancer in some way. And they break through a limiting fear because they've got that Saturn and that Mercury in their 4th and in their 9th. No, that's wrong. What am I thinking? So they've got Mercury in their 4th and, Mercury is in their 3rd and Saturn is in their 9th. So there's some sort of new way of thinking, new way of talking, waking up to some kind of honestly, if I'm going to go with me personally, I just did a bunch of astrology readings last night to people, and I just become even more believer in astrology.
How is that possible, Madelaine?
I know.
I can't even imagine.
I know. And so, I'm just waking up to more and more how important it is, the younger generation. And but maybe with the 3rd house, the sun there, again, you see, it's that valuing of the self and what we do and how we communicate. So for Cancers, you're going to have much more belief in yourselves, and you're going to have the North Node in your 10th house of career. So this is happening right in time for that. So
there we go.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
Leo.
Leo, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah. Great time for Leo. Leos, basically you're going to have the sun on your sun or ascendant or your moon, wherever you have Leo in your chart. And you're going to have Aquarius opposing that. So potentially a relationship that could be a 7th house situation if you have Leo on your ascendant. So there's a good chance a relationship comes to fruition. Now, it's a contracting relationship. It does not have to necessarily be a romantic relationship. But let's say you're moving, you sold a house, you're going to move. Then maybe you are going to sign a contract with a real estate agent and they're a 7th house relationship. Or you have an idea to start a business with a friend, or a relationship comes up and you start a co-business, or you start a business with your person that we've talked about.
I know Madelaine has been banging this drum for a long time.
I know it's coming. And this is actually the time that it comes for Leo. That some sort of long effort that they've done or a long work project that they've done with their spouse or relationship now opens up for them. And now they see the fruit that they planted, bears the fruit. But also, like for instance, I'm thinking of my son, he's Leo, and he really is on the verge of starting his own. Leo are very fashion and designer and aesthetics. They're the kings and the queens of the aesthetics and the beauty in the world. And they want everything around them to be beautiful. And they're right, 100%. So, we're going to come into their sort of, he makes fashion, as I said, but accessory things, hand makes them. And he'll probably come into business with a business partner who he hires him to make stuff for his own orders. So I think they're going to probably come into a contracted situation. So that's what we're looking at for Leo. Now with the Virgo in your 2nd, that's a financing house. Aha, interesting. So you're going to have,
That's interesting.
Yeah, you're going to have an open mind around money. And you're going to have talk about the 8th house because you're going to have, what do you have? Leo in your 8th. See, you're going to have Saturn in your 8th. So my is probably afraid of debt and self-restricting on debt. Well, I got in debt when I had Saturn in my 8th and it all worked out. So Leos may end up taking out a loan, a business loan, and let go of the fear that they wouldn't be able to pay it back. They have more abundant mindset. They're going to have a new optimistic thought because they know that what they're doing is better for humanity. I know my son's way of making things is much better for humanity. To have more confidence in it, because that Jupiter square is giving us the confidence, the belief in it, the faith in it. It's true. We need to improve the world. We have to change the way we do things. It's the only thing that's consistent is that we all constantly need to adapt and change. So, and this is a fixed sign energy. So we're creating we've created a stable structure that we're not even aware that we've created. That's what this full moon shows, that we've created, that we've done our hard work all this time, that our mind limited can only see not having really worked out, now works out. So for Leo, I think you're going to have the confidence, and my son keeps whispering this on our phone calls. I think it might be time for me to start and go on my own now. It might be. This is the kind of energy. And then an opportunity comes in, or he gets an order, or you get something happens. The full moons are oppositions. Oppositions bring things happen. There's either conflict or difficulties, but in that there's a shift or change. So Leos are going to have a shift in belief. I think they're going to take the risk, and I think they're going to go for it. Go for it.
I feel like I have been. I feel like I have been going for it. Maybe I'll just do like the next level going for it. But
your guy, because it's in your relationship house. So something you haven't gone for involving him is what I'm saying. Yes, you have gone for, and yes, most of those are always going for things because that's their fire energy anyway.
Yeah.
But they're going to go for the risk, the thing they've been afraid to do, the thing they've been holding back, the fear of that going into debt or fear of something. You're going to take some sort of risk leap of faith.
Interesting. I'm excited to see what that is. I mean, I have a couple of ideas, but
it should show itself.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see how they unfold. I could feel my mind wanting to put a story there and to go, oh, well, this, then that, then this, then that, then this, then that. And I'm like, no, stop. Just let it.
It's fine to do that because you're not you're opening your mind to all the possibilities. And as you do that, you may land on it and it may ring like, I think that's what it is. And then now you're consciously aligned with it. So have fun with it. Absolutely.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, the mind stops us when we're thinking of what it can't be. It can't be or can't do this. It's just the way it is now. This is the way things are. They don't change. We're looking at all the you want to anticipate being in. That's a very abundant state to be in. It's masculine energy, positive masculine energy anticipates the arrival of abundance all the time.
Without attachment. So that's the key piece.
That's
It's like
right.
have these ideas, but don't grab onto one and go, oh, that's the one.
That's
It's
right.
just, yeah.
Ooh, wouldn't it be exciting if that's the one? It could be that.
Yeah. But it could be this.
It could be
Or this. Or
Yeah.
this, or this, or this.
But what it is going to be is exciting, and you're going to love it. You're going to be inspired by it because Aries is in the energies. The nodes are in the energies of Aries, which means we're very excited and inspired to initiate these.
Wow, Misha has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Yeah. No idea.
No idea. So I freaking love this card for Leo, the Fire Star Orchid. I mean, hello, fire, star.
Hello.
It's like, I think it's like mic drop right there. So I don't even need to talk about it. But this has to do with wild creativity and thinking outside the box. I mean, that's Aquarian energy at its finest, and wild creativity is Leo. So it's on point. I don't know that I need to say anything more about it. Just any Leos out there, just really take this card in. I am absolutely going. I wonder if this is in Hawaii, which is where my guy and I are going. I'm curious. I'm gonna look around for this flower because it may just be there.
Well, I love how these flowers bring in the thing I skipped out on and didn't say, which was
is?
the Leo energy is all about creativity. And this thing you're going to be doing is creative self-expression.
Ah, okay.
You're going to be inspired because your MC is Leo. I know that about you. And this is what I've been trying to explain to you. Well, you've understood, but this is what I eating and saying is that you want to be really inspired and excited. That's when you're on your right path. You feel it. You're inspired. And that's when you're on fire. That's when you're in the right energy field of your MC.
Right.
And that's when for you. Okay.
Hot diggity damn. All right, Virgo.
Virgo. So you guys have Mercury in your first house and you have this Saturn in your seventh. So potential relationship clashes, potential relationship split ups, potential arguments and belief conflicts, but Mercury's going to win. Mercury's in its own sign. The old way of seeing it. Maybe you're in a relationship with your husband and your husband's really old fashioned, really rigid about some sort of belief. You're going to win, I don't know, maybe somewhere you want to live country and he's really more stuck in the city life and you don't want that anymore. You'll win. Don't worry. He'll move.
We're having some giggles here.
Yeah, Virgo, because Virgo is very supported by Mercury right now. It's in its own sign. So it's a strong position. Virgo's in a strong position in this dynamic. So they have Aquarius in their sixth house. Okay, so full moon illumination in your sixth house illuminates. The sun will be in your 12th house. So some sort of spiritual issue that is causing a health issue is going to become clear. So you're going to want some kind of a health issue could show up, but at the same time, it's a solution. It's a fix. It's better. You're going to change your day-to-day habits because of it. Or you've already in that new moon, in that Aquarian Jupiter Saturn conjunction, you started a new path of health and you quit something or you started a process of healing, which now you're going to see amazing results of. Now, the other thing is you could start, you might be a practitioner of healing. Virgos usually are very shaman. They usually have MC in Taurus, super earthy health energy. Virgo is the purifier, the energy of the pure virgin, purifying sickness. The sixth house is the house of disease. So this is most Virgos don't know, but in their past lives, they would have been sort of shaman, healer, medicine types. So if you've got Aquarius over your full moon, there's a good chance you are here to step into a healing practice for the collective that helps the the health of the general collective. Maybe you go start an internet or a social media site, you galvanize people on some sort of unilateral health solution that really everyone can get behind. That's, you know, whatever side of the political arena you're on. This galvanizes both sides. And it's an opportunity showing up for you. Now it's a work house, so it's going to be career. It's ruled by Saturn. So this is very indicative of a career situation for you opening up. Also a new habit. You have the sun illuminates your sixth house, shows you that you have a habit that's not good for you. Quit it right away, and you see the benefits right away. Let me look at your Leo house, 12th house Leo. You've got the moon, the sun there. So you're going to become aware of a spiritual purpose or reason or past life issue. You may not necessarily know it's past life, but you're going to come up with some sort of spiritual reason for behind the health problem. You could suddenly wake up to that you feel empty all the time. And so that you do this, you chase relationships so you don't feel empty, because you could have Cancer in your chart or other placements that have that in your chart. And now you realize I'm going to quit chasing this or trying to fill my empty in a way that's not healthy. Could be through sugar and desserts that fill your empty. And you now see that the sun illuminates your 12th house, saying you're running away from your empty. How can you fill your empty with the divine light energy? Okay, go ahead.
2 cards came out for Virgo. And the way I interpreted this card, so we have over here, we have the pink lotus and the bird of paradise. So when you were talking about the 6th and the 12th, it really struck me how when we're talking about the 6th house, it made me think about looking within, being able to access your own inner wisdom on how to navigate your day-to-day, how to navigate crazy work schedules, how to navigate health crises. And then we have the bird of paradise, which has to do, the way I connected it in with the 12th house, the message is to quiet your mind and connection. So, and it's a connection with a higher power, a connection with your own deep inner wisdom, a connection too, when you think about Aquarius, with those around you. So for whatever reason, Virgos really need these 2 messages to take with them. You know, Sally, I think you were saying your sister is a Virgo. My daughter is a Virgo. And so, you know, did you find with your sister, was there any connections that you felt like relate to her life or things that she shared with you, or?
Not particularly yet.
Okay, but you can see where they might be
For sure.
coming. Okay. Yeah.
So 12th house, the cards you picked. It's amazing. That going inward spiritual thing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great.
Spot on. All right.
Woo!
So Libra.
Libra, you guys have Aries over your 7th house. You've got the nose in your 7th house. So there's a good chance you're going into partnership agreements of some sort, collaborating or just marriage relationships happening. And then we've got, so Aquarius hits your 5th house again. That's a relationship transit. So this is a big relationship lunation for Libra, and they have Aquarius over their 5th house. So some sort of a project involving, or an effort that was made involving a creative project, because that's the 5th house, is a very creative project, involving friendship groups, or become to fruition. You see the results that you may have initiated back in 2020, December 21, and you now see the fruition of it. But you could also become very clear of, because we've got these oppositions of people who believe separately or differently, and that you're going to release, and it becomes very clear who's not in alignment with your new project, because Aquarius is a Saturn energy. So we're looking at long-term projects. So it becomes revealed what friends cannot go with you to the long term, because they have the South Node in their 1st house. So they're releasing people pleasing kind of energies. Full moon in their 5th, they're letting go of friendships, relationships that are not supportive of them for the long haul. And then it really comes to fruition, a creative project, or an entrepreneurial, because the 5th house is very entrepreneurial. It could be that you meet a whole new friends groups that comes in, and you do then galvanize and do a group project, or you like, let's say you're writing a play because the fifth house is performance. You now meet a whole bunch of actors and actors that are perfect for your play, who can create this project for you. Aquarius is, it could be that you start an entrepreneurial business selling a new device or product that is modern and futuristic communication stuff. You know, I go very personal with this, but you could be locking into the whole new modern world, which is what Aquarius is about, which galvanizes the people through social medias and stuff. So you're looking at very strong relationships coming in that are long-term, that are part of your mission, for relationships that are going to co-create with you for the long haul. I know a Libra who's an actress who will probably work on a group project with a co-writing with a friend, a project to perform.
So it's interesting. So it's interesting. Regina here has her moon in Libra. And yeah, so could you want to speak to how that might be showing up? And when you think about your moon too, that's your emotional world. So how, from what Madelaine described, do you feel like that might be connected to what's happening in your world? I'm going to move this to be heard.
Yeah, I know that's something I've been wanting and craving, is for a partner to show up both in business, so that some of the projects that I've had on, now I wouldn't say on hold, but just
Pause.
on pause. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm ready to reactivate again. And so I've been really calling in the right partnerships to help execute and launch those again. So this is timely, and I'm excited to meet those people. And then of course, partnership in life, you know, Venus, energy, love, romantic.
Yes.
I welcome that too, when the time is right. And
Well-
it's been showing up. I'm getting a lot of what I don't want though, noticing like, oh no, that's not what I want next. Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
Discernment.
Interesting that you're single right now and you're rising Libras, because this does mean you absolutely have relationships coming in here. A romantic, this is a very powerful romantic relationship. We have Venus in retrograde. It's a good chance you already know someone. So watch out when you do start a relationship with Venus retrograde. The guy usually goes back to an ex. So you want to wait till Venus is out of retrograde if it's a new person. If it's a past person, and there's a good chance it's possibly a past person. A lot of people meet their person and they go into separation because a lot of divine mates are not quite ready for union, especially in these energies, because we've had Capricorn we've had Pluto and Capricorn, so people are clearing a lot of important karma that is blocking them from their divine mates, from being fearless, clearing fear, relationship choices and things like that. So Libra have been gone through a lot of that karma clearing, preparing them for their true person. And that's happening within the next 6 months, because we're having Pluto leave Capricorn. So we're wrapping up in the next 6 months, these last sort of layers of karma, everyone in their charts. So for Libra, they're very much clearing that energy, and you may be cleared and ready to go here. And this full moon, it's possible that you then become very clear as to who this person is. You may already know them, or you meet them. You could.
The other thing too is like Libra and Aries is that the nodes have shifted into your signs. So there's the next 18 months for Libras and Aries, or there's going to be a lot of change and transformation. Some that feels like, okay, yes, and some that you're not going to feel as good about, but all perfect. Yeah.
Right, because you're going to have the eclipses for the next 18 months in your first and seventh houses. So relationships that are not right are going to get rattled away. The eclipses, when the nodes are in a certain sign, the eclipses happen then. And so for the next 18 months, you're going to be rattled around in your relationship and self-house. So your identity versus relationship. Who am I? Who do I fake myself to be to hold a relationship? Do I hold on, and by being dishonest and being someone different than who I really am, so that it holds the relationship? Where am I trying to control relationships? All that stuff. So you're letting go, and you're allowing the divine, unscripted, true, heart-centered relationships. Libra are very mind people. So they got to go with their heart. It's very hard for Libras to do that, to completely intuitively connect with the heart, which is why you've probably met the person, because you're Libra.
Say that last part again.
It's probably why you've met the person. So you definitely recommend you go back and watch the replay of this to take it all in. And I want to share we have another goddess that joined us. We have Allie. Allie's coming in. She's saying hi.
Looks like she got the sun too.
Yeah. So, and Allie, I need to find out what your sun, moon, and rising are.
I'm Scorpio sun,
Okay. Aries moon.
and Libra rising.
Oh, so you need to go back and watch the replay because we just talked about Libra.
Oh,
We're wrapping
nice.
up Libra now.
Okay.
Feel free to grab a chair from the other room if you want to, so you don't have to,
Okay.
whatever you want. So the flower for Libra is yarrow. This is an activation of like a recharging of the batteries. And you were talking about, this Aquarius energy has to do with the digital world, internet, social media, those sorts of like social sorts of methods of communication. But for Libra, maybe it's the message is do a digital detox. So maybe it's about time to step away from that facet of Aquarian energy, go in, like you were talking about the heart, go in, maybe tune more into that Leo energy of that heart-centeredness, and then you can go back out. But maybe just a little slight shift.
Laugh because Venus is in retrograde and Venus is a ruling planet and it's all about going inward. So I just had to stop you there. Hysterical that you were saying that. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's perfect. So so yarrow, you Libra ladies, this is a good one for you. And then actually this one, we had two cards come out, but I feel like this looks a little bit like Leo, just in the orange and the yellow and the red. It's that like fiery, fierce energy. Activate spontaneity, and the message is spice up your life. And I feel like this particularly related to Regina, so I want you to read that card. Okay. I feel like that came out for her specifically.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So interesting is that Leo over Libra is their 11th house. So you're looking at the 11th house Leo sun there, partying, who is a friends group, fun time, social.
Hello. Yeah.
Meeting new tribe, meeting new groups, seeing actually the sun illuminates who a new tribe is, and it's kind of a party, fun time energy. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. So Scorpio, I think we have Scorpio sun here with Allie. I'm a Scorpio ascendant and Sally is a Scorpio sun. So yeah, let's bring on the Scorpio.
Yeah. More of that fourth house energy of moving and changing homes and sudden ideas and sudden revelations of where to live. An opportunity could show up out of the blue, place to live. And remember that Saturn Mercury opposition, it may open your mind. It may be in an area you normally wouldn't choose. Your mind would have been too limited to go there. Something opens up around the fourth house that opens your mind. It's an opportunity that's outside the box. But again, this is the result of something that you initiated a while ago. And now you're seeing some sort of answer, clarity around where you want to live, better for your mission. It has to do with cultivating a long-term humanitarian. It's alignment with a humanitarian effort you're on. It's definitely divinely intended, like you move where you're supposed to go for this project, for your path, for what you're here for, your calling. And there's a line up here with living situations. And then you've got the sun, Leo, in your 11th house. Oh, no, wait, Scorpio. Leo in your 10th house, the sun. Fantastic. Again, this is a career hit for you, Amalia. Fantastic. So you've got the sun there illuminating your true thing, the thing that you didn't think or the thing you didn't see. Career, you're going to see, this is what I'm supposed. Madelaine was right.
Do you want me to get on here whenever that thing happens and be like, okay, everyone, Madelaine was right. I'm just going to say it here for everyone to hear.
I get a text, you were right. And I go, oh, what? So yes, so you're going to see some sort of illumination as to your true. It's right on your MC too. Don't forget, this is great for you. So this is going to be a time of career illumination, career upgrade, which potentially changes your living situation. This is the result of an effort a long time ago. and it's going to be an opportunity that you take, and it's very potentially changing your living situation. Or you just don't spend much time at home for a while. You have Libra in your 12th house. Interesting that you have Libra in your 12th house. You're letting go of being alone, and that means you've got the Aries in your sixth house. So you're going to be very, very busy. Now you're going to have a verbal confrontation against Virgo and Pisces in your 5th and 11th. So there might be creative differences or some kind of an argument involving a creative project or an old belief. Interesting. See, I'm right.
Your modesty today is just so
Beautiful.
amazing.
I really like have a big head today. A lot of myself today, don't I? So anyway, you're going to see it's a creative venture between these two houses. It's because you've got your 5th house is Pisces, Saturn is there. So some sort of rigid belief or lack of belief from a Piscean person you might know.
This is totally dear to me.
Oh my God.
So
Kind of give a little bit to Amalia.
that, yeah, she's razzing me a little bit, but okay, Allie over here, who you can't see on the floor. Let me see if I can put her.
Oh my
She's
God.
like over here. I keep hearing her go, "Oh my gosh."
No, because it's literally my situation because
Hang on,
I'm
let me
actually
put this.
moving. I'm actually okay.
Okay, there we go.
I'm actually moving. Hi, I'm actually moving in a month. And I've had a situation with a Pisces.
Ah.
Yeah. So that was like, whoa.
Well, and then the other part of this too is it
Oh,
has.
And she'll win. Just let her know she'll win the controversy. She'll probably win.
You'll win
Sorry.
whatever it is with the
Okay.
Pisces.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just gonna let it go at this point and just move
Well,
on.
That's probably how you win, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing,
In your favor, let's put it this
Okay.
the other aspect too is the ancestry, because I know when you talk about 4th house, it's also clearing like ancestral wounds and this old stuff. Because I know for me, I've been doing a lot of that has been taking place and clearing stuff out. And I know, Allie, for you, like she's made big life changes that have shaken up kind of the way she was raised and how her life was set to go. And she had the courage to make a huge leap and make a change.
Fantastic. I'm telling you, these are the energies for taking leaps and risks. You will be rewarded. Fortune favors the brave right now.
Yeah, got that,
And-
Leo. Yeah.
I forgot to mention about all the fixed signs. Remember, this is happening in your angular houses. So for fixed signs, their whole lives are changing. Living, identity, career, and relationship. Doesn't mean the relationship ends or changes, but something may restructure in your relationships. You may take on some kind of contract and do a project with them, or join or buy a house together and you sign a contract together. So it's a range of things, of course.
So what about you, Sally? Did anything jump out for you with any of that? I'm putting you on the spot.
Not yet. But
What's her?
I mean, the key word is potentially, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see any changes, and I haven't made any changes as of yet.
What's your sun sign? What do you know about your chart? What's your rising?
She's you're a Scorpio sun.
Scorpio sun.
What was let's see, I wrote your rising down. Her rising is Aquarius.
Yeah.
So this is significant.
Oh, well, she just hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll tell you why, because you have Uranus, the planet of Uranus, in the sign of Taurus, squaring what'd you say you were rising? Aquarius. So it's squaring your first house. So all of a sudden, you could suddenly experience some sort of sudden liberation from a situation that you feel sort of trapped in or in a stuck or in a rut. But your life will suddenly sort of take a shake of some sort, which liberates you. It may be in the form of a crisis in this full moon, but I'd have to look at your personal chart to see, but if that's the way it happens, it's creating a change in you that really is important for you, that is going to be happier for the long term. You're going to be liberated from something that you've been doing just sort of out of survival mode. And it then sort of liberates you from that into the more thriving energy.
and stepping into that place of self-sovereignty for you. You
Yeah.
know, it's first house, it's your first house, which is you. And I feel like too, for Scorpio, having the nodal shifts that took place the past 18 months, you know, a lot of us have been shaken, and maybe some more than others. And then now we're really beginning to feel that, okay, I feel like I'm maybe moving through that, and now we can kind of get our feet underneath us.
Yeah.
And feel a little more stable and secure.
Right. And well, especially because Uranus is still in your fixed house sign. So all the fixed signs are still experiencing sort of radical identity changes, radical relationship changes, radical career shifts, and radical situations. And again, these are out of the blue. And these are opportunities that come in these lunations usually. So, and it's a fixed sign lunation. So it's continuing that eclipse energy. It's kind of in the area of the eclipses because they mostly were from 10 degrees to like 18 or something degrees.
Yeah.
So really continuing some of the more, shall we say, results of some of those shakeups. But I think this is a stabilizing time now for the fixed signs. I think we're going to see stabilizing coming in, but it's not quite done because Uranus hasn't left Taurus yet.
I totally agree with you. I feel like it's on its way to stabilization. We're not there yet, but it's like you can sort of see that light at the end of the tunnel, and it doesn't feel quite so like, oh my gosh, when am I going to be beyond this? When can I feel like I've moved through this already, like enough already? Hang on, there was something else I wanted to say about that was coming through about, well, the other thing too was just the fixed signs. They're fixed. You know, we like what we like. We want it when we want it. And that's it. Like there's no wiggle room there. And we've really been wiggling around a lot.
And it's interesting in tarot how the Uranian cards with the Tower card, I think that's a Uranian card. And then the Star card. And those are usually the cards that, like, these fixed energies don't change unless it's like, kaboom.
Yeah. Like, well, this is another thing Madelaine does, is the clutching and like having the universe like rip your like fingers with your grip. That's so, yes, exactly. And I feel like that's such a fixed sign thing. So the card for Scorpios here, ladies, I'm gonna show you as well, is the bird foot lotus. The message is take charge. And I feel like too with Scorpios, sometimes we sit back for a little while. You know, think about a scorpion, like they will attack, but they sit back and they sit back and they sit back and they sit back. And then there's like the secretiveness and this like kind of keeping things close, not oversharing. Now's the time to take charge. Now's the time to voice, to act, to do, and this activates contentment. So it's almost like in being able to access these parts of ourselves, heart, Leo, being able to think outside the box, Aquarius, and take charge in our lives in some way, we'll feel a sense of contentment and peace around whatever that is. So the bird's foot lotus, I really like this for.
Well, it's really,
Scorpio.
really, really funny that you're saying this, and I'm holding back the excitement.
Don't hold back.
But Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in very, very strong. Well, Mars is in Virgo right now, but Aries, you know, the nodes are ruled by Mars as well. So it's interesting that you said that for Scorpio, because Aries is also ruled by Mars, is in their sign rulership. So that's a very Mars energy read you just did. Very interesting.
Let's go.
Aries, yeah.
Take some action. All right,
Sagittarius, you guys have air. We're going to look at Aquarius is over your third. Is that over the third house? Over the third house, yes. So you might get a new car. Because the third house is vehicle, moving around, local, short distance. You may move locally. You may get a new car. My son is Sagittarius. That's why I said that. He's looking for a car. So he's in the market for a car. So some sort of a vehicle, because the moon is there. So it's also actually really helping you some sort of a business or an opportunity or work opportunity that you have initiated, Sagittarius initiated in 2020. Yes, I'm excited. Comes to fruition, third house, communication, ideas. You suddenly start a website. You could start a platform for it. You could start a new business with somebody. Again, you want to look at the full chart to get a real idea of how the third house is playing out here, but it could be a writing project, it could be a small business, or you suddenly become aware of a way of thinking, or an argument resolves. You had an argument with a sibling, it becomes resolved.
Sorry.
Okay, so you get like an open-minded thing happening, a new communication or ideas come in, new ideas. It's a Gemini house, it's ideas, it's Mercury. So it's like a business ideas, communication. You could get into an argument or a conflict with someone, Leo, in the 9th, over beliefs and opinions. But again, you're going to have Leo there. It's going to illuminate some kind of a belief that changes your mind. You may have a major mind change that aligns you with a more humanitarian effort or a business or entrepreneurial project. You're going to have potentially, you've got Pisces and Virgo over your 10th and your 4th. You may move or have ideas of changing a situation or an argument about beliefs at home. So because you've got Virgo up there, and Sagittarius had Virgo over their 10th. Wow. So potentially new ideas come in, conflicts around living and work, but you then, the Virgo, you may find yourself more with a shifting new belief around a work, and shift your career around a little bit here with some sort of new ideas, new opinions. You break out of an old idea that's old fashioned, and you break out to a more modern, futuristic idea or a concept around 9th house. Leo is in your 9th house, traveling, teaching, belief, you suddenly have a much more open, broad-minded about something, or you see you need more pride and belief in yourself, because Leo over the 12th, 9th, you believe in yourself more, so you come out more on your social media platform, you're more communicative, all of that.
I love it. And we've got the red clover for Sag. And what I find interesting about this is the intuitive read I was getting on it has to do with energetics of Sag. So this strengthens the energetic field around Sagittarius, and the confrontation and conflict really jumped out at me for Sag, and the ability for them, regardless of the differing beliefs they might have with other people, is to not allow the emotional wave of somebody else affect you. And that I feel like will be really, really important. And red clover is very supportive of that. The message is you are invincible, and it activates empathy. So when you think about empathy, it's like being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and feel what they're feeling, but that doesn't mean that you take that on as yours. It's an awareness of it, but not a feeling like you need to fix it or do something. It might be showing you something about yourself. It might be revealing something for you, and opening your mind, Aquarius, to another approach or a different way of navigating a situation. So red clover for Sag.
Okay, I have got to go to that piece.
Okay.
My bladder is about to burst. I've been doing this.
This is a first. I don't think this has ever happened. All right. So I'll ramble on while you go to that. Okay.
Right back.
All right. Yeah. So since it's just us ladies, so I'm curious, what are your thoughts on like what's coming up? Like, have there been some big takeaways for either of you around? I feel like I'm like, I don't know if I should turn my back to the camera or what. Like, what are some takeaways that you've had around just this Aquarian energy in your lives? Like anything that's jumped out?
I can't think of anything that's like particularly jumping out.
It's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact is that you two were sitting here in this energy, and it's a lot to take in. There's a lot happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I can definitely feel as an Aquarius, like
Okay.
I've been,
I'm gonna move this way. Okay.
I really appreciate this because as an Aquarian, I feel like I'm generally very creative and I'm generally very open-minded, and I haven't been as much lately because of some circumstances. So I'm excited because I knew I needed a reset, and I knew I needed, what I'm sensing is now coming through, which is like, through radical acceptance and through being able to come to this place of clarity, like exactly what the Sag card was just now, strong balance of emotions. Like I can feel empathy for other people, but not be sideswept by the undercurrent of their emotions. And that's a lesson for me, is like hone in
Interesting.
on my boundaries. And the moving, like I was not excited to hear about a new car because I've had a new car in the last 8 months, 2 new cars. So I'm like, no, let's not do new car, but motion's good. And I am looking at moving, so that's perfect. And then Libra, of course, the partnership stuff. So it's exciting. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I love Aquarian energy. It's all about innovation. And also I think, like you said, coming back to like, sometimes timing is everything. And just because like, normally I don't have the kind of blocks I have right now around technology, but I'm also accepting it is what it is. And that doesn't mean I can't start creating again.
Right.
I might not launch right away, but I'm creating, which is amazing considering where I was 3 weeks ago, like feeling stuck. So
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, so I
And,
think
she was saying a few things that I realized I've sort of omitted in this presentation, is that Aquarius is the energy of the oddball, accepting the eccentric, the things about ourselves that are not normal, because Aquarius is all about being individual, being who we really are, being our authentic selves. And we all are rather oddballs, really, in some levels. Like we have to accept. And then that Leo thing is about loving ourselves, being pride of ourselves. It can either be a fake pride where you sort of believe something's not so good about you and you're hiding it with a pride, or your Aquarian energy is I fully love and accept myself completely as I am, and the Leo part of me, and I'm proud of who I am.
yeah.
So I just
And
want
that can be really challenging for most people to do, because we're wired for belonging, for survival. So if you're the oddball out here, then there is a literal innate fear of death. And so it's hard to be out there on the periphery, but having that faith and trust and knowing that it's all divinely guided, and the landscape was created for you by you. So there you go. All right. So Capricorn.
Capricornia, you guys have Aries over your 4th, I think. Yeah, so you guys are doing a lot of moving, redeveloping a living situation. I know Capricorn who's just moving into their new house. They get the keys literally like yesterday. So, and then you've got Aquarius hitting your 2nd house. Excellent. Brand new beginnings in financial income, a new financial career coming in. Something through friendship groups that you may have initiated a long time ago. I can think of a project with this person that's going to open up here for them and do very well financially. Over the 2nd house, a full moon, a very nice financial abundance, something comes to fruition, and it would have been a group project. It's also galvanizing energy as far as pulling, maybe if he works with bands and musicians, so it would be like a band that he was working with. It's very much Aquarian. So the fruits of his hard work are coming in, which is great. And so Leo over the 8th house, you see that there's a chance you end a debt. You can pay off a debt. You also have a lot more confidence and you're proud of yourself. You clear some sort of pride about money. You feel more better about money, or you feel confident to take a risk and go into debt. You know this is going to pay off. Opportunity comes in. What else? You could go into joint financing with someone. You could move in a new house and you have financial co-mission with people. Maybe you start something, you rent a studio space and you rent it out to other people and it helps you pay for the whole place. Aquarian, full moon in the second house. It could be relationship because it's a Taurus house, it's a Venus ruled house, it's a Venus house. It could also be health and body. You become more into working out. everybody is in general becoming more healthy and working at Aries. Everyone's probably getting more muscle mass on their bodies. That could be a thing you start working at, you get more muscle back, and that full moon really shows you've done some good workout. You suddenly see you got lots of muscles.
The other thing with Capricorn that strikes me about this is that a different mindset around money and material goods, like maybe something that you thought was so important isn't as important, or maybe you didn't think, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something.
Well, oh, that's good. That's good because it's a value. It's what you could, the second house is possessions, what we value, what we possess. So maybe something comes into your possession. You get, you acquire some kind of a financial abundant thing that comes in. Maybe you get given a house, or you get given property or land, could be. With this, because you got Jupiter squaring that. So something good could come in here for you guys financially. Absolutely.
So the Royal Poinciana came through for Capricorn, and this card, this is so interesting because it activates conviction, and the message is ask for what you want. But there's a footnote about thinking big. And when I think about Aquarius, I feel like Aquarius are the big thinkers. They're the higher mind thinkers. And so now is the time for you to perhaps really think big in order to create and manifest something in your second house of financial abundance, perhaps. And that may relate to again, we're kind of going back to what we talked about earlier for Cancer and Libra. I'm sorry, Cancer and Capricorn, is that sense of you might have to take on a debt in order to, like, think big might require taking on a debt in order to create that financial abundance that you're seeking. So it may not look as linear as our minds might expect. And that's why it's good to have that more Aquarian mindset and think in different terms, in different way.
I'm gonna take a leap of faith and say that I think for Capricorn, they're gonna have some sort of abundant financial thing open up for them. Good money come in, a new financial opportunity. I think they're gonna, like, for instance, this Capricorn I'm thinking of, he's been working with a creative project with a group for a while, and they may have been doing okay, but now I think he really reaps the reward and he gets like a nice solid check from that project.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I've got a few Capricorns in my life.
Right. So I think it's very good for Capricorns. They've done a lot of karma clearing, and this is their ruling planet is opposing Mercury, but it's ruled by Saturn. So it's ruled by their planet. So this is going to be powerful for them, and they have worked hard for this. They deserve it. It's the fruits of some sort of labor that they did that was more for the creative spirit. It wasn't security based like most Capricorns can be. And they're going to surprised that it worked out, and they're going to realize that there's a universe behind them, not just their own ego mind. And I'm not saying that they're all ego maniacs.
But they can be. They can be.
Yeah, they want to write the script out and have it fall exactly in alignment with the script, but it doesn't work that way.
Not always. No, not always. We ready to go to Aquarius? And I think we've got Aquarius Sun, and then you're Aquarius
Ascending.
Rising. Okay, so we've got two here.
Both aspects. Okay.
Yep.
So you guys have, of course, this is in your first house. So a full moon in your first house, you change your identity. You suddenly cut your hair, you buy a new hat, you decide to start wearing different kind of dresses.
Buy a new hat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just have to make fun of you on that a little. Okay.
I know, it's like this huge big deal. Go buy a new hat.
If I see either one of these ladies in a new hat, I'm gonna be like, Madelaine, you're not gonna believe it.
You were right.
You were right.
Yeah. So, you get a little into your looks here, and you kind of get, and by the way, you could suddenly be very shockingly different because it's out of the blue. You could really surprise everybody. There's this, maybe you get a little more hippie, you start wearing peace signs, and because that's the age of Aquarius, tie-dye, peace signs, big hats, you never know. Your image may become a little more eccentric. You're gonna let your freak flag fly a little more, the Aquarians, right? You're gonna come out of their shell a little bit. And it's great. It's so colorful. You get a group of Aquarians that are doing their own thing. It's just like, you see a lot of like typical Aquarian people would be Russell Brand. He would be like your archetypal Aquarian, very eccentric dresser, out there in the public, really confident, pulling people together. So, you know, a version of that, like your own eccentric self-expression about yourself is going to come out. You could, and it could be all of a sudden out of the blue, radical change. You suddenly may change something very big about the way you look. Now, what else? You could also become, we got the Leo in your 8th house. And I'm sorry, we're doing, you've got Leo in your 7th house. You've got the sun in your relationship house. And so you're going to become more you. And this is something the eclipses have been doing to all of the fixed signs, is they have been, either your relationship's going to make it or it's not. But what's going to happen is you're going to become more you. And you're going to stop altering who you are to keep a relationship, or design who you are to hold a relationship, or any kind of ego mind idea about relationships that you're trying to script out is going to, in this eclipse season, has gotten really rattled up and just, right? So now with this full moon, you're much more confident. You've got the full moon in your first, you've got the moon in your house, full moon. You're really, your subconscious has been cleared out through that whole ecliptical cycle. Now you're really more believing in yourself. You feel confident. You're ready to initiate some new things because you've got Aries over your 3rd house. You might start a new website, a new platform, but you're really ready to come out and be the Aquarians you're here to be, which is to bring people together. And the Leo is the fun energy coming into your 7th house of relationships. So you may partnership with other people. The sun may illuminate your true person. That could be a marriage partnership. You then decide to go all the way. You could get engaged, that kind of an energy. And then you could join your project between the two of you. That is your mission, which is your calling. But most people have a calling connected to mate, divine mate. So with the sun in your 7th house, you believe in yourself more in relationships. You're not willing to, shall we say, let's just say you're confident about yourself. The sun is there. You're in a good, it's good energy for your relationships. You're bold in who you are, and let the relationship fall apart if it can't handle it, kind of energy. And you will let the relationship fall apart if it can't handle it. These are the energies where many people are saying bye-bye to relationships that are not really our divine connections, our soul connected. If they're karmic in any way, just consider it gone in the next 18 months. We're going to see masses of relationships. Karmic contracts are ending. I just ended mine. I've ended a 30-year karmic contract with somebody. It's wild. I mean, literally, like, we're signing the big D.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Very exciting.
Finally.
Congrats.
I believe it took me so long, but we finally did it, divorce. And I went out to dinner with my friends. I said, by the way, we're celebrating something. They said, what? I said, my divorce. And the waiter came out with a cake with happy divorce all over it. It was just
Nice.
so yeah, this was a karmic contract. My friends said, why didn't it happen earlier? It was just the weirdest things kept getting in the way. We kept dropping the ball on it, but it was karma. It was like, we really had to ride this karmic contract out, and now we have. So we're really seeing lots of relationships, especially in this full moon. There's a good chance you end a relationship with that full moon there. It becomes very clear this is not your person. Could get into a conflict because it's opposition.
So ladies, thumbs up or down if this is resonating with you. Thumbs up, is it resonating?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Friendships?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, same.
Friend, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it could be too, like, this also has to do with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you I mean, this is all about you. Like, how are you showing up within relationships for yourself? How are you showing up in general when it comes to yourself? The squash blossom is the card for Aquarius, and get ready, it activates liberation.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
know.
Blacko.
Liberation. And the messages feel free in your body. And so I feel like that too is so prevalent right now for so many people, is that, feeling that sense of spaciousness within themselves, regardless of their physical exterior, and just really tuning into your own inner divine wisdom and guidance. Anything else I want to say here? The only other thing that's really jumping out on the card It magnifies healthy expression of sensuality and sexuality. And this was something that we've been talking about for a few weeks now, particularly about that place of sensuality, sexuality as women, as a place of creation, as a place of power. So that feels really very resonant with Aquarius as well, is that energy.
Yeah. What did you just say that was very perfect here?
Creation, sensuality, sexuality.
What it was talking about being your authentic selves and everything, and about what I was saying about the hat, because I know it sounds
Yeah.
the hat, but we're talking about metaphorically the whole thing, which I think that card was kind of bringing up, which I thought was interesting.
So a second card came out, and I feel like this was potentially geared towards these two Aquarians behind me, but I also feel compelled to share with our audience as well. And that is the passion flower, which activates healing, sleep, and the message is rest more. So I don't know if that resonates with either of you. I kind of felt like it was for you,
Yeah.
but I think it could benefit all. So yes,
Tell you why it's specific for Aquarians, that
Right.
message.
yes,
Because
exactly.
your ruling planet is in the sign of Pisces, and it's in retrograde. So your ruling planet is not only in a very sleepy, weepy energy, very sleepy, like Neptunian energy. It is also in retrograde, which is even more sleepy and intuitive and internal. So
Yeah.
I-
It's all there. And then here we go with Pisces, last one, rounding out the zodiac signs.
yeah, so you guys are going to have opening minds. You got Saturn retrograde in your first house, opposing Mercury. So you're going to have arguments possibly with relationships, contracted relationships, or just they come up and you sign a contracted agreement. Relationships, contracted type come up, or you start a relationship in these energies. But you've got the Aquarius is in your 12th house. So you suddenly become, I'm thinking of a Pisces rising as an opportunity. He does festival circuits in the country, like kind of like festivals where people listen to music that's very Aquarian, very 5D, very sort of like woo up there, and very psychedelic, and all that. Because that's the energy of psychedelia, that whole Aquarius energy. So it's like
That sounds fun. Where is that, Madelaine? We want to go.
Well, yeah, I can tell you about it. They do a bunch of them. They go into the country, and they're very much, you escape into the energy of the higher realms. Like it's very meditative music kind of thing. And, they're getting kind of popular, and it's very spiritual in a way, because it when you connect with the higher dimensions, it's kind of a spiritual experience, right? So Pisces are super spiritual anyway. They may not know it. But anyway, so they've got Aquarius in the 12th house. So some sort of an opportunity around the country, festivals, traveling. Most Pisces are creative artists, and or a soul calling, because the 12th house is your soul, and it is the energy of Pisces. So maybe suddenly an opportunity opens up that really is their soul calling, and they've been like, we know your situation. So maybe
Yes.
so now he's going to wake up and seeing that this is the soul calling, and that he's on board, but that opportunity arrives because these oppositions, something happens to us, and something is coming. Now it's may not be what you believed. Pisces can be rigid-minded, and well, they're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the 9th house, and shadow aspect of the 9th house is rigid thinking. So there's potential that they're opening up their minds now. They're seeing and also this is a result of an effort from before. So this is not a new thing, really. This is a Saturn retrograde. This is something from the past that you've already worked on that is now bearing fruit.
I'm waiting for Misha to come to me and say, you were right. So you're waiting for me and I'm waiting for him. You were right, babe.
That's
Why
right.
did I wait so long?
Then it's going to come to me.
And then, yes. Somehow it's going back to you every time, Madelaine. I don't know what's going on here.
My Leo pride.
Oh yeah. Well, and we had, again, the cards are really speaking to us today, because I have two cards that came out that I feel like really connected beautifully with what you were saying with Pisces. Okay, so we've got the pink primrose, here, which activates rapid growth, and the message is make it effortless. And so I feel like too, with that, we've got, you know, Pluto was moving into, well, for Misha, it was, the Pluto was in Capricorn. And so that's been really hard for him. And then we've got the wild hawkweed, which activates wholeness. And the message is fall in love with yourself. And I feel like that's such a beautiful message for Pisces. Fall in love with yourself and the growth that's happening, you know, be happy, be in love with that process as it's unfolding.
Yes, because
You guys are very distracting over there.
you're having
What was that, Madelaine?
you're all having Aquarius party. You're partying too much.
I know it is. It's a big Aquarius party here.
No, the Pisces have Aries in their second house, Neptune, so the nodes are there. So they are going to really start believing in themselves, valuing themselves more, being more go-getters, more doing very well financially for the next 18 months. They're going to have leader energy. Aries is money energy. It really is. It's fearless energy, taking risks, being bold, not afraid to stand out, energies. So I say this looks good time for Pisces. They've got Saturn in their first house, so they're taking very initiative. They're starting projects. They're initiating things. My son is doing that. He's Pisces rising. And it's going to bear fruit in the money area. And their Aquarius is in the 12th house. So it's almost like the soul calling becomes clear.
I mean, what a beautiful way to wrap up all 12 signs for this Aquarius full moon.
That is true. Nice. You're right. Nice wrap up message. The soul calling.
Yeah. And so, you know, as always, if anyone's looking for specific guidance on your astrological chart, reach out to Madelaine. She can definitely guide you, support you, help you along that path. If you're looking for more, you know, generalized relationship support plus relationship with yourself, relationship with another person, understanding that energy. I mean, Madelaine can also look at that from an astrological perspective. I looked through several other lenses, but you know, whomever you're called to, however you need support, leave comments, share, like, subscribe, all the good stuff here. And then also at Madelaine's channel. What is that? What is your YouTube, Madelaine Parker?
Madelaine Parker.
Yeah, that's it. Just look up her name. And yeah, so, and we're here to support you. We appreciate anyone who has tuned in, anyone who is catching the replay. I know these ladies who are beach goers, we're going to catch the replay later and be very curious their thoughts. Hopefully they'll comment and leave us some love there. And thank you to Regina and to Sally and to Allie, who went to go get something to eat, for being on and being our guests and the audience and chiming in and sharing their experiences and their wisdom as well. It's been really, really fun.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching, and for your friends joining in. That was fun. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks for the Leo new moon, which I'm also super psyched about. And then we actually have a second full moon in August, which is a blue moon. Very exciting. That is the 31st.
Is that Aquarius, another Aquarius full moon, or is that a Virgo full moon?
I don't know. I didn't look that far ahead. I just know that there are two.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Signing off. Thanks everyone so much for being here with us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you next time.